All right, welcome back to the channel. It's a sunny Saturday. I got to go fly a G5 out of Van Nuys, and my friend Chad over here is like, hey, you want to ride up there? I said, sure, let's do it. So we also met Deanette in Carlsbad at the Palomar meeting this week. She's working on her IFR, so she's going to come along, listen to some radios. It looks pretty VFR, but did you follow now for our flight plan? Yep. So at least she'll get to learn. So that's one thing when you're a pilot and you're earning your hours, whether you're in flight school or you're like a low-time jet pilot, you can always learn from other pilots. So networking is huge. So today we're taking Chad's Columbia 400 from Montgomery Field into Van Nuys. So instead of driving 2.5 hours, we're gonna fly it in about 40 minutes. So come along for the ride and come check it out. I'll give you a little brief overview on Chad's Columbia 400. This is a sexy plane. I've flown in it a bunch. Chad's building his hours just for fun, but now he's decided he wants to fly jets part-time as well. So Columbia 400, it's a twin turbo 310 horsepower engine. It has a fixed gear, meaning the gear does not come up, so it stays down the whole entire time. It has anti-ice fluid. So it comes out over the wing. What you do is it has fluid coming right over the leading edge of the wing. So before we get into icing, you make sure you release some fluid, and you always want to make sure that fluid tank is full. So it's worked really well. We've been into Vegas before. I've watched it. It's a really cool option on an airplane. So TKS is what that one's called. But anyways, this Columbia 400 is 4 seats. This is a 2005 model. Bought it a couple years ago. It has Avionics 5000 in the Avionics, and it's a comfortable airplane. It's non-pressurized, but we do have oxygen if we need to go higher to get over weather or get over mountains. Chad lived in Vail for a while, so this is a great airplane with some horsepower up in Vail. So come along with us. We'll go fly this Columbia 400.
To Vegas that one time and caught ice.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the Garmin G5. So that's the backup Ahers, and that was an electric gyro that failed in flight. It just started spinning all over the place.
So you didn't have a backup because it failed during that
was
flight.
The backup, yep.
Okay.
And so in my last annual, it broke right when it was going into annual. And so it was the same price to rebuild the 30-year-old electric one than it was to put in a brand new G5. And this G5 is fully electric with its own independent GPS, and it's electric, but it has a 2-hour battery backup.
So that's nice if you ever lost power, had an engine trouble with no electrical.
You've got 2 hours to get on the ground.
2-hour backup battery is pretty nice. Did your other original 30-year-old device, 20-year-old device have a backup battery or no?
No. Nope.
So if it failed, it failed.
Yep.
Hard fail. So this is the Garmin G5. What did it cost you fully installed?
I believe it was about $4,500.
So that's pretty reasonable when it comes to aviation, to upgrading avionics. I mean, I know I see a lot of the G5s in older airplanes. It just, people are installing them in everything. They can use them as an HI or an attitude indicator, right?
Yep.
So there's multiple uses for them. So they're pretty cool. So check that out. But yeah, I haven't been in Chad's plane since he installed that, so it's pretty cool. Talk about that.
We have Papa down to 6,300, Southwest 40.
This is the Avionics 5000s,
Okay.
the Integras, which for the time were pretty advanced. I have all of my engine instruments. Checklists are all in here. I have the whole nearest list, and then I can look at my trip, and it'll tell us how much fuel we're landing with. You can also subscribe to XM Aviation Weather.
So what you're telling everybody is you don't necessarily have to go buy a brand new $1 million Cirrus airplane to have some good avionics that help you as a pilot reduce your workload and give you information. So you can get some of these Garmin G5s installed in a $40,000 Cessna 172, right? I know they're up in price now, but in a 150 you could throw the Garmin G5 and you'd have good avionics in it. So you don't necessarily have to blow all your money on a newer airplane because you have a lot of good avionics in older airplanes. We're about halfway there to Van Nuys. We're just about coming up on Dana Point. They're starting us a little bit lower, descending from 8,000 to 6,000. What was our total flight time today, you think, estimated?
It was like 40
minutes was estimated, so we'll see what happens when we get on the ground. But smooth flight and a super clear day. Fun to get back in a little GA airplane, which I don't fly a lot. All right, so we're going to talk with Chad a little bit. He had his, what was your first airplane that you owned?
I had a Piper Arrow.
So that's 4 seats. How fast did that cruise at?
That was like 135 knots. It was retractable gear, so it was faster than a 172.
And when did you buy that? How many hours did you have?
I think I had 300 hours when I bought my first plane.
And how many hours did you fly it? How
I put about at least 500 hours on that airplane.
So that's pretty good. So you got a lot of your experience in your own airplane that you got comfortable with.
Yep.
Flying IFR, I know you flew all around the country. So what prompted you, I mean, every pilot wants to upgrade at some point, but what prompted you to, buy a Columbia 400 specifically?
So my flights were getting longer and longer, and the Arrow is really good for, 2-hour flights or something, but I started going California to Colorado to Texas, and that was just too long in the Arrow.
So what's the cruise speed on the Columbia 400?
So down low, it's about 175, and then if you're going cross country and you go up into the high teens, you're doing about 200.
Yeah, and it's got a twin turbo, like we said earlier. It's got oxygen, right? So have you used it much?
Yeah, I use it quite a bit. If I have a tailwind and I'm doing a cross country, I'll go up to 16.5, 17.5.
And you just get a faster tailwind, especially if you're flying to like Texas or Florida from California. So cool. Well, yeah, we'll show you some more stuff on the ground in the Columbia 400. All right, so for those of you that didn't know, Chad's our Director of Development over at Captain Capital. So what his role is he goes and finds us land where we can develop properties. Previously, we both, we would find deals and flip houses together. And Chad's got 20 years project management, managing developments of all different sizes. So he loves having his own airplane to fly to go look for deals for us once we know we're under contract or we really want to know the area. So right now we've been focused on Houston area for about 3 years. So Chad likes flying himself. It's about a $300 to $400 ticket each way to go and view the property or the surrounding area and the research we do.
But how much is it gas and how many hours does it take to get to Houston from San Diego? About 100 gallons each way. So $500 to $600 each way to fly himself there on his own schedule, not dealing with airline delays or other people, and he can bring people with him. So, I mean, it's never cheaper to fly your own airplane no matter what, but it's more enjoyable. You get more control, and it's just a lot more fun. You get the freedom of doing it. So that's why he likes using his airplane probably for, what, half of it? Or yeah, about half enjoyment, half business. So you can use it as a business tool. So currently we are flying through the LAX airspace. We got a lot of airports here. It's a sunny Saturday. A lot of student pilots or just pilots out enjoying themselves as well as lots of airlines coming off of Long Beach, and you got LAX. So this is a great way to use an IFR flight plan.
Number 6 Echo Yankee, contact approach 124.3, 24.3, have a good day.
24.3, 6 Echo Yankee. So we're currently flying through LAX airspace right now, and it's a really busy day. So it's a sunny Saturday, a lot of recreation pilots, and lots of airlines going off at Long Beach, LAX. So this is a great time to use an IFR flight plan. And even if it's a visual day, practice your IFR skills. That's a big thing. That's exactly why she came along for the ride along. She's working on her instrument rating, which is great. So it's great that Chad offered a ride. And you just get more experience even riding in the back. Just see how other people do it. You know, the IFR clearances come across really quick. So that was something that most of us struggle with when you're new. And the ATC gives you a clearance. You have to be really quick. And if you don't know something or didn't hear it, you have to ask. You have to ask them to repeat it. So you can do that. It's just better to get better and better at it. So it's a big thing, but get out there and practice your IFR so you stay fresh and stay safe.
All right, we made it to Van Nuys, 9:30. My client delayed till 12:15, so I'm gonna hang out, shoot some content with a friend of mine. Wow, they are gonna hop up to Big Bear since it's nice and sunny and fuel is cheap up there. So Chad's gonna go top off and he's gonna see us at Carlsbad Jet Center, check out my G5 later. All right, so we're here in Van Nuys. I got here extra early because I flew up today, gave myself enough time in case there are any delays or anything. But when I got here, I noticed the airplane is 4 airplanes deep. We're not leaving until 12:15, but this is a problem, so I went right into Castle and Cook. I asked if the assistant had called to give a time, and she never did. So this is one of the problems that you may have to deal with as a corporate pilot, is like, I have to get this airplane out on the ramp, fueled, ready to go, you know, especially when someone else fails to do their job, not the ramp. Sometimes it's the ramp, sometimes it's the assistant. So I got 4 airplanes. It's probably going to take us 45 minutes to an hour to move the airplane. So now I pretty much have to monitor them. I'm probably going to recall them and say, hey, let's get going, guys. So as a corporate pilot, it's not just show up and fly. It's a lot of the other stuff. It's a customer service job. So I got to find these rampers and start pushing these airplanes back. So right here, so this is a cover so that the water or debris doesn't get into the outflow valve. We're gonna keep the pins on. We're gonna keep the pins on because we gotta get pushed back. So that's to keep the gear locked in place. These are to make sure nothing gets in the fuel vent right there. So now I've got all the covers off that I need to. I got 3 pins still left inside. doing that on purpose so that we can get pushed back. The pins help the gear, help lock the gear in place just in case something happens. So we have a mechanical failure or whatnot on the push out. So we got 3 pins, waiting on that, and then I'll hook up the nose wheel after we're set in place and fire up the APU. All right, we're getting pushed back in Van Nuys eventually, but we're making it. We're getting staged, get some fuel, get ready to go in about 1 hour. Short flight, about 18 minutes to Carlsbad today. Looking forward to it. All right, got my 3 pins after pushback, so we're here, ready to go. But now I gotta set the nose pin, and I'm gonna fire up the APU, get our fuel load, get our flight plan loaded. Should be taking off in about an hour for our Carlsbad, negative PDC.
Sorry, Stefan, you say your call sign?
That's Gulfstream 820, Mike Sierra, negative on the PDC, looking for clearance Carlsbad.
Gulfstream 820, Mike Sierra, Van Nuys clearance, clears to Carlsbad Airport via New Hall 1 departure, radar vectors, Twine intersection, Victor 518, Chemo, Victor 459, Seal Beach, Victor 23, Oceanside, direct. Maintain 4,000, expect 11,000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 134.2, squawk 4662.
All right, New Hall 1 departure radar vectors Twine, Victor 518, Chemo, Victor 459, Seal Beach, Victor 23, Oceanside direct, 4,000, 110, 10 minutes, 34.2, I believe. And then, sorry, can you repeat the squawk? 462 something.
Gulfstream 0 Mike Sierra, squawk 4662, and departure frequency is 134.2.
All right, 34.2 and then 4662. Thanks for the squawk for 0 Mike Sierra.
Gulfstream 0 Mike Sierra, reback break, ground break.
All right, so Captain Capital team, Greg Wilson, Chad, and myself, we're sitting in a G5 that I just brought into Carlsbad. Basically, we're just manifesting. So we should have a G5 in a couple years.
Yeah.
So we can just fly investors and clients around looking for properties. That's the plan, take over flex space. So follow us on Instagrams, YouTubes, do your push-ups, and come invest with us.
Yeah. Oh, this is a sliding door. Move that sliding door. It's locked in here. Oh no, the handle.
Yeah, turn the handle.
There you go.
Okay, Greg, you want to power it down? Just hit that stop button.
And this is not where you want to start forcing something.
at that. Okay.
Put it down, Dad.
Well, hold on. Ready? You want to go do it with me? All right, here we go. I don't want to get your hand in there. Here we go. Is that cool? Push it to make sure it's closed. Yep. Does that look good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, finishing out my day. It was pretty cool. I had about 10 pilots, most of them local, come out and check out the G5. So if you guys don't know, I'm mentoring. I don't have a lot of free time, but I mentor new pilots that are looking to advance their career. I do this for them and for you guys. If you're flying or want to advance your career, check out my Cockpit Connect. We're going to have a conference coming January 18th here in Carlsbad. Again, I'm going to have a bunch of speakers, but in the community, there are multiple people today that went flying together in diamonds, and everyone's helping each other out, and that's what a community does. I don't sell a course. There's nothing like that, but it's just a community. Meet other pilots, try and advance your career. And here's what we're doing. We showed a bunch of people at G5 today. So thanks for following along on this YouTube. And there's my little YouTube buddy. But watch for the next one. And January 18th, put it in your calendar, Cockpit Connect. Gonna be releasing the info super soon. Fly safe and say hi if you guys see me on the road.